The Girl in White. A suspenseful and heartwarming story. The road through the forest. The town of Blackwood was small, quiet, and surrounded by thick forests. Most people knew each other, and nothing unusual ever happened there. At least, that's what everyone believed. One cold autumn evening, 17-year-old Ethan Parker was riding his bicycle home from his friend's house. The sun had already disappeared behind the mountains, and darkness was slowly covering the road. As he pedaled through the forest path, a strange figure appeared ahead. A girl. She stood completely still beside an old oak tree. She wore a long white dress that fluttered gently in the wind. Her pale face was almost glowing beneath the moonlight. Ethan slowed down. "Hey," he called. The girl didn't answer. Instead, she simply stared at him. A chill ran down his spine when a passing car's headlights flashed across the road. Ethan looked away for only a second. When he looked back, the girl was gone. Vanished. As if she had never been there. Legend. The next morning, Ethan told his friends. Most laughed. But one old man sitting nearby overheard the conversation. His smile disappeared. "You saw her?" he asked quietly. Ethan nodded. The old man's face turned pale. "Then you saw the girl in white." The room fell silent. The old man explained that nearly 50 years ago a young girl named Emily Carter had disappeared near the forest. She had been wearing a white dress on the day she vanished. Despite months of searching, nobody ever found her. Years later, people began reporting sightings. A girl in white standing beside roads. Watching from windows. Appearing in mirrors. Always silent. Always disappearing. The townspeople believed her spirit still wandered the forest. Searching for something. Or someone. Another encounter. That night, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the story. Curiosity slowly replaced fear. The following evening, he returned to the forest. Moonlight filtered through the trees. The air felt unusually cold. Then he saw her again. The same white dress. The same pale face. Standing beside the old oak tree. This time, Ethan walked closer. "What do you want?" Hacked. For a moment, she remained motionless. Then she slowly raised one hand, pointing deeper into the forest. Before Ethan could say another word, she disappeared, leaving only silence. Into the darkness. Most people would have run away. But Ethan felt strangely compelled to follow. Using his flashlight, he walked in the direction she had pointed. The forest grew thicker. Branches twisted overhead like giant claws. After nearly 20 minutes, he found something unusual. A small wooden box buried beneath fallen leaves. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was an old silver necklace. Alongside it was a faded photograph. The photograph showed a smiling young girl wearing a white dress. Emily Carter. Ethan's heart pounded. Had the girl led him here? Why? The forgotten truth. The next day, Ethan visited the local library. After hours of research, he discovered something surprising. Emily's disappearance had never been fully investigated. Many records were missing. One newspaper article caught his attention. It mentioned a former groundskeeper named Thomas Reed. He had been questioned but never charged. Years later, he left town suddenly. No one knew why. Ethan began digging deeper. The more he learned, the stranger things became. Old witnesses recalled hearing arguments between Emily and Thomas shortly before she vanished. Yet, somehow the information had been ignored. The journal. Ethan decided to visit Emily's elderly sister, Margaret. At first, she was reluctant to speak. But when Ethan showed her the necklace and photograph, tears filled her eyes. "I thought these were lost forever," she whispered. Margaret disappeared into another room and returned carrying an old journal. It had belonged to Emily. Inside were diary entries describing her life. Most were ordinary. Until the final pages. There, Emily wrote about being frightened of Thomas Reed. She believed he was hiding something near an abandoned cabin deep within the forest. The final entry ended abruptly. It was written the day she disappeared. The cabin. Determined to uncover the truth, Ethan returned to the forest. Following directions from the journal, he searched for the cabin. Hours passed. Then he found it. The structure was falling apart. Rotting wood creaked in the wind. The door hung crooked on rusted hinges. Inside, he discovered old tools, broken furniture, and dusty boxes. Then he noticed something beneath the floorboards. A hidden compartment. His hands shook as he opened it. Inside were newspaper clippings, letters, and personal belongings belonging to Emily. Evidence someone had deliberately hidden. Suddenly a loud crash echoed outside. Ethan spun around. For a brief moment, he thought he saw the girl in white standing in the doorway. Watching. Waiting. Then she vanished once more. The secret revealed. The police reopened the case. Investigators examined the evidence Ethan had found. The hidden letters revealed a dark truth. Thomas Reed had accidentally caused Emily's death during an argument. Panicking, he concealed the evidence and fled years later. For decades, the truth remained buried. Just like the necklace. Just like the cabin. Just like Emily's story. Now, finally, the mystery was solved. The town was shocked. Families gathered for a memorial service honoring Emily. For the first time in 50 years, her loved ones had answers. The final goodbye. Several days after the memorial, Ethan returned to the old oak tree. The night was calm. Stars sparkled above. As he stood there, a familiar figure appeared. The girl in white. Emily. But something was different. She no longer looked sad. A gentle smile touched her face. For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was soft as the wind. "Thank you." Tears filled Ethan's eyes. "You're welcome." The girl smiled once more. Then golden light surrounded her. Slowly she faded away, not disappearing into darkness, but into peace. Epilogue: The Empty Road. Years later, people still talked about the legend of the girl in white. But no one ever saw her again. The sightings stopped. The whispers faded. The mystery was finally over. Yet on quiet autumn evenings, when the moon shines brightly through the forest, some travelers say they feel a warm breeze near the old oak tree. Not frightening. Not cold. But comforting, as though a grateful spirit is passing by. And whenever Ethan remembers that night, he smiles, because he knows the truth. The girl in white was never trying to scare anyone. She was simply searching for someone brave enough to help her find peace. The end.